All right, guys, welcome to the back bend video. This is for all levels, so follow along and choose the variation of each stretch that you can do comfortably. It's not too hard, but also not easy. You want to challenge yourself. So we're going to start by stretching all of the muscles that are back bend related, but with a warm-up. So reach those hands up in the air, and you're just going to reach your shoulders out of your socket. So pulling up like so. And now you're gonna breastbone up to the sky, lean back a little bit, and bring yourself back forward. And again, arms up, breastbone up to the sky, stretching the abs. You don't wanna crunch down on your back, you wanna grow tall and back down. One more time, lifting up and breastbone up to the sky, and bring yourself back down. It's almost like a good morning, like, oh, you're yawning and you're waking up. So now we're gonna do our cherry pickers, so it's gonna be the same similar idea, but one hand at a time. Both hands up, stretch through one side, then the other, and other. Switch, and switch, switch. Breathing deeply. And 3, 2, 1. Last side, bring those arms down and relax them just like so. Now we're gonna move on to these hip flexors. So you're gonna split your legs apart, and now this is going to be a split squat. If it's too challenging for you, place your hands on your knee as you do it. If it's too easy, do it without your hands. Both toes are pointed forward, and the goal is to get this knee to go forward, and instead of bending this knee, you're gonna straighten it out so you feel a huge stretch, and then you're gonna lift back up. So the easier level is just a partial range of motion. The harder level is a full range of motion. Choose the variation you can do. We're gonna do 10 full reps. Here we go. Sink down and lift back up. That's 1. You can use your hands to 2. And 3. Focusing on this back leg. And 4. And halfway through, if you need to start using your hands and you weren't before, that's okay too. And 7. 8. Last 2. 9. The final rep. And 10. Switching sides. Again, both toes pointed where you're looking. Bend the knee. Feel that stretch. Don't let this knee go down. Keep it straightening and lift up. That's 1. And 2. 3. Use your hands if you need. And 4. Your legs should be burning. That's normal. Halfway through. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Last 2 reps. Make them count. Whoa. 9. And here we go, and 10. Lift yourself up. Woo! Go ahead and stand. Shake those legs out. Oh, legs feeling like jello is totally normal after that. But it will prepare you for that back bend, so it's very, very helpful. All right. Now we're gonna go back to these abs, and then back to the hip flexors again, but more passively, so it'll be a little bit easier. So come all the way down to a lying position, just like so. Now, the easy version is keeping your hips on the ground and looking forward like this, chasing a stretch in your abs. The harder variation is toes planted, quads flexed, glutes flexed, and lifting yourself up and looking up to the sky. Choose the variation that's easier for you or that you feel better in. Here we go. Lifting up, holding for 30 seconds, holding and breathing deeply. Keep that breastbone lifting up toward the sky. You don't want to feel this crunching in your lower back. You want to feel it lengthening in your abs. Breathing deeply. And bring your knees down, round your back. Sit back towards your heels and try and relax as much as possible. Let that back relax. Anytime we do some sort of intense back extension, it's always helpful to do a relaxing flexing stretch of the back like this. And it's called a flexion stretch because you're rounding forward. All right, go ahead and lift yourself up. Rock a little side to side. Check in with your back. All right, we're gonna move on to the passive stretch for these hip flexors. So you're gonna do a lunge just like so. And the goal for this is to sink the hips down toward the ground, but first, point the hips forward. Do not let them point out to the side. Sink down. Your hands can go on the floor if you're new. To challenge yourself up here, doesn't matter each way. Hold for 30 seconds, breathing deeply. You wanna feel the stretch all through this area right here. Try to relax into that stretch as much as you can. Every exhale, sink those hips a little deeper. And come on out of that stretch. We're gonna switch directly to the other side. Other foot forward, knee down, point the hips directly forward. Sink them down toward the floor. If you need the hands on the ground, that's fine. If you want to make it harder, you can bring your hands up on your knees, holding for 30 seconds. Here we go. You might be questioning why we're doing a hip flexor stretch in a back bend video, but it's because the back bend is actually a function of flexible hips, flexible abs, and flexible shoulders. So that's why we're working on them all one at a time, and then we'll put them all together. Come on out of that stretch. Go ahead and stand up for a second. Ooh, go ahead and rock those hips a little bit. Find a nice way to relax your body. Just let all that tension release. Now we're gonna do one for the shoulders. All right, so for this one, I like to go down to a seated position, but you could also do this while standing. So one hand up in the air like so, and you're gonna actually pull your thumb backward behind you, and then you're gonna stretch up like this, holding this for 30 seconds. I know it seems so simple. You're chasing a stretch right here in this area, but this stretch will actually make your shoulder burn after long enough. Crazy how you don't actually need much to stretch. Of course, you could push your arm against a wall to get a deeper stretch, but you don't need it. Switch sides. Remember, thumb back toward your body, and then you're gonna stretch over just a little bit. You're chasing that stretch in this area right here. Breathing deeply, holding for 30 seconds. Try to be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And come on out of that stretch. Go ahead and shake those shoulders. And now we're gonna combine it together into a back bend stretch. So there's a couple of variations. I'll show you from hardest to easiest. You're gonna pick the one that works best for you. All of them happen while laying down on the back like so. The hardest version is lifting yourself all the way up and holding. The easier version is feet planted, pelvis lifting up to the sky, even higher than just this neutral position, as high as you can, and then putting your hands on the ground. And the easiest version is relaxing your feet a little bit further away, just putting your hands overhead and pushing those hips up just like so. Pick the variation that you can do, and I'm probably going to go through all three variations as the stretch progresses. And you might even want to do that too if you can only do it for a little bit. So here we go. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. So, all right, here we go. So go ahead and get into position, hands on the floor, and lift those hips up to the sky and holding for 30 seconds. It helps if you have a strong, stable surface and not rough gravel that's slippery like this. I'm already slipping, so I'm gonna sink down just like so. I'm gonna straighten my arms. keeping the hips up to the sky. You can also bounce back and forth, so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna lift up again. And I'm going back down, holding, breathing. I'll show you what the easier variation looks like this. Good. Breathing. Almost done. And sink down. Now pull both of those knees in toward your chest and rock a little side to side. We're gonna do that one more time, but you're gonna try and challenge yourself to go to a slightly harder variation and hold it for slightly longer. So, relax for just a second. Let your body just take note of what we did. Rest for just a couple more seconds here before we go into it. All right, here we go. Hands on the ground if you can, and we're gonna go all the way up if you can. Inhale and exhale, lifting up, holding, breathing deeply. It's okay if your legs are far apart like mine, but you can also bring them closer together to make it harder. I'm going down, gonna adjust my grip a little bit and go back up. Here we go. Breathing deeply if you can. Almost done. And come on down out of that stretch. Lift yourself up. Stand all the way up. Go for a little walk. Walk it off. Notice how your back feels. We're gonna do one roll down to end it off. Here we go. Stand about hip width apart. We're gonna let your back relax as we do this. Nod the chin, rolling forward. One bone at a time. Keep the head relaxing. Sink down, sink down. Pause where you feel that stretch. Bend the knees. Shake the head side to side. Rock the shoulders side to side. Rock the lower back side to side. Now, straighten those knees. Pull the belly button up. Keep the head down. Rolling up one bone at a time. Head is still down. Then you start to unravel. Come all the way up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down to the ground. And relax. All right. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, it's down below. I also have programs on Ganbaru if you want to follow along. All right. Stay flexy.